Welcome to my tutorial for Sengoku Blade for the Saturn. This is a great game. I just discovered this recently, but yeah, I'll try to explain a few things about it. I mean, there's not much to say about these bullet hell type of shooters. This is kind of like a bullet hell shooter, except that you don't have a really small hitbox like in most bullet hell shooters. So, in some ways, I guess I can make it harder because you can't always fit between the bullets, so it can be pretty tough. I started on normal with the samurai character, and I got to pretty much the end of the game. I think it was the final level, but I found it really, really hard with that character, and maybe it's because I'm sitting 5 feet from a 65-inch screen, so I have to keep turning my head to track the bullets, and then I lose track of where my character was. So I should really be playing it on a smaller screen. But I was able to beat it on normal when I went back another day, and I used this character that you see here. I recommend using this character because when you hold down... I was using a rapid-fire controller, so you can get the same effect by mashing the button pretty much, but... as you're firing rapidly, she'll shoot out some homing orbs that home in on enemies and clear them out, which is great. And the other thing I really like about this character is that when you use her bomb move, which is your second fire button, it uses a bomb. It's a screen clearing type of bomb, but not quite. It makes a bomb in a small circular radius. So only whatever's in that radius will take massive damage. It's a lot more powerful to use against bosses than the samurai with his lightning, which it takes out everything on the screen but does much lower damage to bosses. So I recommend using her and trying to line up that special move so it lands like right on top of the boss and really drains their energy. It's also good to use to clear out bullets if you're about to die. Keep in mind that with each life you have, you can set them up to 4. It may default at 4, but you can set it to 4. And with each life you have, it comes with 2 bombs. So your bombs are shown below those little life icons on the top that show how many lives you have left. And if you do die, whatever bombs you're carrying will be gone. So it's good to try to make sure you don't waste your bombs by dying with multiple bombs on hand and then not being able to use them. So I'd say try to plan ahead for that. It's hard to use them when you're about to die at the last second, like in a lot of these games, because there's a little bit of a delay when you launch your bomb. So it doesn't come out real fast like, in some games. So at least that's what seems to be the case, because I've played these types of games and usually I'm able to do that. But in this game, I wasn't able to do that last second type of thing as easily or consistently. So it's good to know the levels a little bit sometimes. And then, if you know some hard enemies are coming out, that will most likely kill you, that you don't know how to dodge or it's too dense, you can plan ahead of time and take out those enemies and use the bombs. I do that a lot since I die on some of the levels several times. This version is all edited out so there's no lost continue shown. But it's still it took me about 29 minutes on this attempt. But I had played the game. I had spent over an hour and a half the first day playing it on normal with the samurai character, and then I recently just went through monkey mode and then easy. And then I decided to go back to normal but try it with a different character. So I tried it with her. And it wasn't too bad for me to beat the game with her. Now, I'm not 100% sure that I actually beat the game on normal with this character, because there's a cutscene at the end in Japanese, which I don't know what it says. And then it seems to loop again, but I think it might be one of the levels that the other characters plays, because there's different paths. So I don't know if you have to complete that to get the full ending, because I didn't get the ending credits this time. Whereas when I beat it on monkey mode, I got the ending. And then when I played through on easy, I used another character, and then that one looped as well, but I didn't get an ending, or a credits ending, I should say. I got some kind of screen that looked like an ending, story screen or something, but no end credits. on that playthrough. But then I saw there was a mark next to my character on the character selection screen, and I assume you're given that mark for each character that you complete the game with. That I'm guessing, because what else would it be? There's like a circle around the character or next to the character. So for that reason, I'm going to assume if that counted as beating the game on easy, with that character, then I'm assuming the rules are the same as normal, for normal. I mean, because I had already beaten the game on, I think I beat the game on easy with this character as well, and I already had the circle, so I couldn't check to see if, it's not going to show another circle if I beat it on normal. So I believe this was beating the game, but like I said, I can't read Japanese. And what I did notice is after you have unlimited continues until you beat the final boss. Then the game seems to loop, and then if you die on the stage that it looped to, then you just have no more continues left. So that's why I'm assuming it's the end of the game, unless it has some kind of strict punishment and there's more to the game. If anyone knows, let me know, because I don't completely understand. Since if I could read Japanese, it might help. So I wasn't 100% sure, but I watched other playthroughs of the game, and other people got actual endings around, after beating those final type bosses. There's 2 final bosses I know of, depending on what path you take and what character you have selected. So there's some variety in replay for sure, because the characters have to, they do play differently with their weapons, and and you got some different paths. You can select paths at one point, and the characters themselves, I think, go through a different path sometimes. Either a different, maybe some unique levels. I'm not sure. I couldn't remember if the levels were unique, but they may be in a different order or something like that. I think only some characters play certain levels, so there may be some of that. But yeah, it's a great game though. Definitely has some replay. I don't know if I'll go back and try hard, because I was barely managing some of the bullet patterns without using my bombs. You'll see at the end I barely, beat the dragon stage. I would need a lot more practice to be able to beat that on hard. But yeah, like I said, I would mainly just suggest using your bombs to keep yourself alive. There's not going to be a ton to explain really about this game. Mainly, I think the most important thing was probably the basics that I just explained. But as far as the gameplay strategies, it's mainly going to be about, trying to dodge to the best that you can. And in these games, I think it's best to focus on your character and the bullets more than the enemies on the right side of the screen. You really need to try to focus on the character and staying in between those bullets. But sometimes it gets crazy dense, and I've never been good at like bullet hell. I mainly play like standard shooters like R-Type and those types of shooters, but I didn't play a lot of bullet hell games. I still haven't really played that many of them. I've beaten a few of them, but it's not a type of shooter that I'm experienced in. But I don't know what I would call this. This is more like a standard shooter. It's kind of like a mix between standard shooter and bullet hell, because it has some of those bullet hell type of waves and patterns. But you have a pretty large hitbox, so it makes it harder, because you get hit easily. So somewhere in the middle, I think. This gets pretty sloppy here. But since you have unlimited continues, you can always commit suicide on the next level if you have no lives, and just get your full life stock back at the beginning of the stage. So if you don't do that, you'll probably get killed anyway, and then get your lives back. Here you can select path, which path you want to take, and I think the only difference it really makes is that you fight a different final boss and different final level. I think that's mainly what it is. I'm not sure, though, because this isn't the last level, I don't think. So, maybe it is. I don't even remember. But, yeah, but, you'll see if you try the different paths, you'll see where they lead to. There's really... I found this path to be easier than the top path. So, if you're just trying to beat the game, I'd recommend taking this bottom path. For some reason, it gave me a much easier time than the top path. Though I don't know if I tried the top path with this character on normal. You know, so I mean, she may make things a lot easier than with the samurai because she actually has homing, shots. There's another move that you apparently have that I never used. There's a way to charge one of your shots and release it, and that does some kind of extra move. But whenever I tried to do it, I just never worked. I've seen other people, or I've heard that you can do it. I don't know if I've seen it. I think I saw it in videos, but I wasn't able to do it. So I just kept with rapid fire, and that was it. And I just used my bombs as I need them. But that charge move may actually be useful if you can figure out how to do it. I wouldn't really want to stop firing in this game, though, so I don't know if you can charge while you're still firing. But I'm sure there's some use for it. Barely scraped by on that. Yeah, I think there's one more level. I think this is the last level. Yeah, this is the final level. And that's why I like this path, because I found this level to be more manageable than the top path. I mean, with the samurai, I pretty much figured out, I'm not going to beat this unless I spend a lot of hours on this level. I mean, I did come close, though, to beating, so it might have not been as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, I came very close to beating the final boss with the samurai, but the level was really, really difficult. Very fucking dense. I mean, I really had to plan my bomb usage, because, I mean, the screen would get super dense. I think I'd probably do a lot better if I was playing on like a small monitor or something like that. But on a 65-inch screen, 5 feet, sitting distance, you gotta turn your head, and you can't see the whole screen at once. So I think it's kind of bad for these types of games. But I made the best of it, because I was able to beat it with this character. For that first form, all you got to really do it. There's a pattern where you can find the gaps, and they're always the same. So that part's not hard to dodge. You just keep firing. This part is not as hard as it looks until there's one pattern that's hard. Like if you let that ball get in close, that orb, that huge orb of the second form, it'll release these really fast bullets that always hit me. So you may want to use a bomb on that orb. I try to save up all my bombs for the dragon, as many lives and bombs as I can, because I never learned how to dodge the dragon at all, as far as the bullets. I mean, you see, I get nailed every time it releases the bullets. I get destroyed. So my strategy was to just try to save up as many lives and bombs, because, of course, with each life, you have 2 bombs attached with each life. So just make sure you don't lose a life before you get a chance to use your bombs. Make sure you stay on top of it. Yeah, and that's it. And like I said, I can't read that, so I wasn't sure if that meant that I beat the game or what. But I've had similar things happen with the other characters on the other difficulties, and it seemed to count that as beating the game because it showed a circle near the character. So I'm going to assume that's beating the game. I think this is a level that you play as either one of the other characters or maybe some kind of loop. I don't think I played it on this cycle or this loop, but I believe it's one of the regular levels. So I think that is beating the game. But if anybody understands any differently or anything or needs any other information, let me know. And thanks for watching.